The Villains Talk Show.
With a slight of an echo. But we're good.
Because we live in caves.
With C4, Sara, Vike, Mr. Insanieac, Sir Jeremy, and the Grease Goblin.
Does he not get a name?
That is his name.
He gets it wrong at the start of every single one.
Even if he did, yeah, John wouldn't know how to spell it right.
Yeah.
There's only one person with a true name. Miss Vike.
True.
True names. Yeah.
Bah.
What do you know my true name?
Today, we're talking video games and anime. Mostly because this is anime season and this is video game season. Video games.
Oh yeah, I guess we can talk about the console.
Yeah.
Holy Christ.
Someone was having mic stroke
Well,
issues.
PlayStation comes out on Friday? I think.
Friday next week.
Yay.
Is it next week?
Yeah,
Because I heard Xbox is already out.
it is.
Really? The Xbox is already out? Jesus.
Yeah, it came out today or yesterday.
Last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jeez, wow, I'm behind the time. That's how much I care about Xbox.
Yes. I'm in it for the Sony. I'm gonna get me some Valhalla and some Ragnarok, some Data War, some ass in Creed,
The only console that I have ever owned is a Wii.
and I don't mean the gay porn ass in Creed.
Yes, you do.
I mean, it's not bad.
It's better than Pokemon porn.
Pika.
That's terrifying.
It's disgusting.
I choose you, Horsa 2. No!
Gross.
It's too funny.
Best porn I've ever watched is Pirates, since we're just on talking about this.
I mean, didn't that one win awards or something?
Dude, if you've never seen Pirates, it's the most it's like an 80s action movie. It's fucking hilarious. Like, you watch it for the entertainment value. It's actually really well written. There's actually good fight scenes. Like, it's a good movie. That's makes it so funny. Like, it just looks like some shitty 80s movie, but it's done so well. It's like Evil Dead, except it's porn. If you've never seen it, I'd suggest watching it for the entertainment value. Not that way.
I know people who used to work in a sex shop, and they said that movie had actually won awards.
Wow.
Because it had like an actual screenplay, and it was supposed to be a porno that turned into a B movie.
And it's hilarious. Like, there's a scene where, like, the dumb naked girls who work for the captain are like, oh no, we're being attacked by skeletons. We better have sex with them. And he stops fighting with the skeletons because they all run over there. And he's like, it doesn't even make fucking sense. And then rather than watch the porn aspect, it then just cuts to him doing the rest of this quest that they're in. It's so good. It's actually so good. Like, just the reaction and the acting of the captain makes it. Because he acts completely surprised and dumbfounded most of the movie. Like, how does this happen? It's so good. It's so good. That being a good segue is the other thing we'll talk about is anime. I watch a metric ton, a little too much anime. But that being said, a lot of good animes coming out with new seasons. If you guys ever seen Tower of God, it's so good.
Nope.
But anyway, video games. Who here is excited for all the Viking games coming out? It's like we had no Viking games, and now all of a sudden there was this one medieval Viking game, and now they're all the Viking games. Just like,
well, I think they learned from Ghost of Tsushima, because they were going to do a Japanese-based Assassin's Creed, At least that's what I
They,
heard.
they did a Chronicles one, but they were gonna make it bigger, but then they like, nah, we're gonna make this a little bit smaller.
And then they did Odyssey instead.
Yeah, they made Odyssey the big one. They did Chronicles, and it was this weird side scroller, Assassin's Creed thing.
Oh, weird.
Do you ever notice
And
they always seem to do like somehow like 4 different studios come out with almost the same theme of game within the same year? like there was a year and a half period where it was nothing but zombie games, and then was like pirate games, and like just a plethora of pirate games.
yeah,
And then there was the space games. Like it just seemed like it always seems to go in a cycle, and they all seem to come out at the same time. Like then there's going to be all the fantasy games that all come out in the same year.
I mean that's true.
I've always
I
wondered
heard about Blizzard's talking about doing a new MMO, so
and Diablo,
another MMO.
and there's new World of Warcraft.
Oh,
well, I don't know if they're actually doing a World of Warcraft sequel, or if it's just another MMO by then.
Yeah, the
World of
Shadowlands.
Warcraft sequel. What the fuck is that?
The Shadowlands.
Well, you
That
mean
might
the
be an
expansion?
expansion.
It's an expansion.
They're
That I
usually
know.
all expansions, but yeah.
But I'm more excited for Diablo 2. Let's be fair.
I mean,
Like
I mean,
that game molded my life.
Diablo 2. You mean? I think it's 4. Diablo 4.
No, I mean the remake of Diablo 2. Fuck Diablo 3, and I could give a
they're doing
shit
a
about
remake.
Diablo 4.
No, 4, the new one with Lilith.
Yeah, the commercial looks good. I have no faith. So I have faith in the game that I fell in love with. So
After the third one, yeah, I don't know.
Fair enough.
they're remastering Diablo 2. Why would I say no to that?
I mean, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh, dude.
I mean, if that's a thing, I wouldn't mind partying up with you guys. We'll do some hardcore.
Oh, dude, I'd get my pally, my hammered in going again. Get my Enigma crafted up, teleport
brother
around,
But I'd be down.
get some sweet SOJs and sell them and do some Ubers. Yeah.
First off, we gotta get some bubbles game.
Maybe make a barbarian.
I know, I gotta get my
my
computer working for that.
get my
Download it.
fuck. What's that sword?
But I mean, if they do a Diablo 2 remake, they might do it on console as well.
That's fair, yeah. I'd get the refunds.
I played that game so much. I can
My brother played
remember
a lot of
almost
that
all
after.
the rune words. Like there's delirium. You could get the insight was the best for your companion, getting a mercenary and giving them an insight, because the meditation aura, if you got a 19 meditation aura or a 20, means that you get mana regen out the fucking wazoo. And then there was also, what was it, bow? Your Battle of the Ancients. Like if you're a barbarian, you have to get Battle of the Ancients, which is another rune word on a sword. And then if you're really good, or if you're like the tier of above all tiers, you would find a Tyrael's Might that was ethereal. Because if you got anything that was ethereal, it couldn't be repaired, but it was also instantly had max stats. And because Tyrael's Might was indestructible and would not lose durability, you essentially had the most highest statted fucking thing you could in the entire game. And it was worth like almost 100 high runes. Same with like a perfect Mara's. Like I said, that game is my life. I was so sad at Diablo
Oblivion
3.
Elder Scrolls 4 was that for me.
Oh, Oblivion! Oh my
I'm
god!
kind of excited for the next one.
I'm more excited for Sky Oblivion.
I never liked.
Well, that's
Wait.
Sky Oblivion. I think that's an individual project.
Sky
It is,
Oblivion?
but it's a remake. It's a modders remake of.
Yeah.
They're remaking Oblivion on the Skyrim engine, and they're almost done.
The only thing that would make me excited is creating my own spells.
You're going to be able to do that.
Like creating
Everything you could do in Oblivion, you could also. They're making it so you can do it in the Skyrim engine as well.
before.
And then they want to do as far as Morrowind, because I've seen the project.
They're doing that one too,
as
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember before it was cool, I would get Fingers of the Mountain, have tons of gold because I was just super rich, had a maxed out spell and bought it, and then you'd walk into literally the capital of Cyrodiil. What's that city called?
Imperial City.
Yeah, the Imperial City, and I could walk into any quarter and use Fingers of the Mountains once, and it would instant kill any non-essential NPC.
That spell was pretty rude.
Oh, it was so good.
That quest
It
pissed me
was
off
so
much, you know,
good.
because I got hit with that shit and I almost died.
It was. Oh, I love Oblivion. Skyrim was great. Don't get me wrong.
I was the sneak master. I used one hand.
But like,
I got the blade
oh my
bow.
god! And the quests in Oblivion, dude.
They were good. They were really creative.
Dude, the Daedra quests were so much better. Like Mephalas pit two towns against each other. Fucking.
That one took me a while to get though.
Her
I
scene.
didn't understand how to like even like apply for that because you had to be ugly or like you had to be like unrepetitive or I don't know. You had to be like some criteria to meet the stage of lords.
Speaking of like, dude, you said Sneak Master. I had to max out my sneak because it was the only you could only do it with Sneak 100. Hersine's quest. If you had 100 sneak, you can actually sneak up to the unicorn and ride it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I remember.
And you needed 100 sneak.
I did for a short time.
Secret Marin's Dagon finish too with Wabbajack.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Wait,
I crashed my game.
Wait, what?
So when Mehrunes Dagon turns into the giant and starts smashing through the city, if you hit him with Wabbajack, he explodes into 1,000 little Mehrunes Dagons because Wabbajack is created by Shao Gorath, which is equal power of Daedra.
Yeah, I just didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, you actually.
Yeah, my brother Dallas tried that because
I crashed my game.
The lore and stuff, right?
There were so many little Dagons that crashed my game. My PC could not handle it.
That's amazing. That's
like,
actually amazing.
I got literally my frames dropped instantly as soon as I hit him with it, and then it's like all I see is like when you do the duplication glitch, and all of a sudden you see like one item become like thousands in an instant space, and then all of a sudden, bling, my game shuts off.
See, I would max out my character and stuff and do crazy stuff. Never ever glitched. And I never used console commands.
Once I got through a lot of shit and I kind of got bored, and like when I did playthroughs where I'm trying to get to certain parts, I would just like kind of glitch some certain things to power through it.
I don't know why. I could never. I always thought it was more fun doing it by hand because then when it would make me feel so much more satisfying when I get to that stupid power level and I'm like, ha, I did it the hard way. I sneaked everywhere and got my sneak to 100. And then,
I always cheated with my sneak too. I found those corners that you could like just sneak into a wall while enemies were around. You could get your sneak up really high. I cheesed the fuck out of Oblivion, dude.
And Bo was always my favorite, but they always fucked up on doing
or any magic, illusion, conjuration, except for destruction. You could just sit there and spam it over and over and over again, and you get it up.
You could make a spell that could unlock any door.
Yeah.
It's just
or paralyze someone forever.
Yeah. I like pickpocket. You could pickpocket and put poisons in people's pockets and watch them die. Or like if you were so good at pickpocket and sneak, you could just crouch and you'd crouch and go instantly invisible, run up behind them and steal all their clothing and their weapons. You just run away.
The poison apples in Oblivion were the greatest. When I got to the Dark Brotherhood and I got those, I was slipping in those into everybody's pockets. When I was fucking like, I don't want to fight this guy. Here, I have a poison apple, and like he'd go eat somewhere and fucking just die. It's like, all right, cool. Quest over. Didn't even have to fight.
Dark Brotherhood was my favorite, and all the unique ways you could kill people. Like if you took time to do this,
like bonuses and learning about them, it made it so much more rewarding. Like I loved it a lot.
Well, they did that in Skyrim too. They had some unique kills.
Yeah.
In fact, they had some really good unique kills. But
I like the werewolves and the vampires were with the Dark Brotherhood too in that one. But like they actually had more of an effect on you.
I'm just sad they like Dark Brotherhood quest was fine.
That was like a lich in Oblivion.
I like the Oblivion Dark Brotherhood better, but I mean, like in terms of the Thieves Guild was fucking shit in Skyrim.
Yeah, no, I liked it way better.
Same with the Mages Guild. Like I like the idea,
and the vampires too.
Yeah. Vampires.
Well, the vampire DLC for Skyrim was fucking crazy good.
The Dawn Guard was good, but I mean, the Vampire Lord was a terrible choice.
Yeah, no, it's better to be that update made the werewolf much better, and you power up your werewolf and you're like so much more stronger, and you get like abilities to call to howl for other roles to be summoned. It's pretty dope. Or like if you went to one of the Soul Slime. You could eventually get the form to turn into a werebear if you talk to this clan of werebears that was there.
Yeah. I heard about that. I never actually got that one, even though Hermaeus Mora is my favorite Daedra, and it was all about all about Hermaeus Mora.
See, I liked they had in Oblivion 2, they had one when you finished all the Daedra Gods quests, you ended up having this other quest where you went to do like a championship and like tournament fight in their realm against like all their Daedra champions.
In Oblivion? No.
Yeah. When you beat all of the Daedra quests,
no,
you had to
that's
be a certain
just
level, you got a gold brand.
No. That was just Boethia's quest. At level 20, you just go to Boethia and you had to do a gauntlet where you fought.
Oh, right.
Yeah, no. The only way to get Hermaeus Mora's quest
I remember
was
his quest,
you had to beat all the other Daedra quests, and then you go find Hermaeus Mora's shrine in the mountains, and he tells you have to kill one of every race. And once you do, you get the Ogmar Infinium.
You have to capture a soul of every race, and it's Black Soul Gem or something.
Something like that, but it has to be one of every race. And then you have to do the same quest in Skyrim to get the Ogmar Infinium.
Yeah.
Although there's a lot of secrets in Skyrim. Like, I never knew that if you did a shout at the sun inside Blackreach,
it summons a dragon.
Yeah, and then I did that accidentally once, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
pretty tough. Dude.
So there's been theories on that. People believe he was stuck in there since the Elder Scrolls Online. Like he'd been stuck in there, or he might have been shifted through. I think it was the Dwemer
well,
soul
I thought the most like common theory with what happened to the Dwemer is because they were able to basically outpower the gods. The Daedra and the Aedra, what they did when they used, because it's all about sound, right? Like everything is about sound.
It was all in Morrowind. They put all of their souls into a giant map.
Yeah,
no. It's called
they tried to create a god, and all of their souls got sucked into the soul gem by the humorous masters.
It was Buddy's heart, wasn't it?
No. They did not get. They used. Okay, so they used the tools.
The gods of the soul gem. Right?
They used what are they called?
You see it in the Dawnguard DLC.
They used these tools. I forget what they're called, and they try to resonate with the heart of Lorkhan, and that's what. Gems. And they do that with the Numidium, and the Numidium's a giant construct. Yeah. It's like a golem they built. It's actually in Skyrim. You do see it in Skyrim.
Yeah.
And because it's all about music, and it's these tonal tools. And the thing is, I think what one of the main lore guys of from Bethesda, he said he let it leak something that I think the number one accepted theory is they got sent to the future. The gods sent all the dwarves to a time in the future when their technology is nothing. Not that it can't do anything. But in terms of what it is to compare to the other races, is they're the ones that are behind.
That's been changed since the Elder Scrolls Online.
Well,
because they've actually gone into detail with the newer DLC where they meet with this Dwemer scientist who actually is from a past or a future, I think. And he talks about how...
Does he have mechanical legs like a crab? Because he's in Morrowind, too. Then.
No, he doesn't have mechanical legs. He's a normal standing human, but he's got, this weird, gyroscopic, thing on his head so he can see, with extra vision, kind of, lenses.
Because you do meet a Dwemer in Morrowind, right? You get quests from him.
Yeah.
It's a human from the future.
Disease, the corpus.
Yeah.
In Elder Scrolls Online, it's like a human that's from the future, and he's learning about the Dwemer because they're not there in his time, but he's fascinated by their work. And you end up learning that they were taken by the unnamed masters. They're essentially the gods of the soul gem realm. Because when you take a soul and it goes into the soul gem,
the three liches that created their own. Yeah. I know who they are.
And they essentially tricked all of the dwarves and have held all of their souls in that space. No one really knows where, because it's only really been touched upon in the Dawnguard, where you got to see that whole realm. But essentially, those floating gems you got to see through those realms, those were actually them, and they actually sit watching the entire realm, and they end up capturing a dragon that you have to fight at one point too. That you even get. I think when you finish the Dawnguard, you can summon him. It's fucking super cool.
I've done that. Well, that's cool. So the unnamed masters, and then it's actually I think it's funny that Sithis actually gave birth to Lorkhan, who gave birth to the actual world that they live in. And
Sithis is essentially the chaos to order.
Yeah, Sithis is just another name for unlike
chaos.
And it's funny because everyone knows the name of Sithis, but no one knows the name of Iowa, who gave birth to all the Aedra, and the Aedra wouldn't have made the world of Nirn if it hadn't been for Lorkhan. So it's funny. I like the lore a lot. Actually, it's one of the reasons I love that game so much.
I've learned a little bit. There's supposed to be. I'm excited to hear too. I've watched some videos on some theories about how apparently Akatosh, the dragon god, he's actually like alive and around on a different island ruled by dragons. But that island, they don't come to Nirn because it was seen as like a wasted island.
I haven't heard that, but I do know there is an eastern continent called Akavir that they don't go there because the
dragon
snake
continent.
No, the snake people continent. They eat everything. If you look more into that, that's who killed Tiberius Mede II. He invaded Akavir, and they're just a bunch of snake people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean there's a tale, I think, from like Yskamor, the dude that was in charge of the companions. He was from this dragon place.
He was from the north. He was from that was called.
That's where there was dragons there. And, they had kept humans as slaves.
Yeah. I know what it's called. It's called
I can't remember it either off the top of my head.
Oh, I know what that continent's called. It'll come to me. One of my other favorite lore is The Witcher.
I never got to keep in that game, but I've heard it's really great.
It's actually one of the coolest stories. And even though the games, you would never learn from the games until you played the very last expansion, if you ever read the books, it's a lot more subtle and a lot more cool, the twist at the end. Because everyone thinks that the entire story of The Witcher is about The Witcher.
Yeah.
Well, it is, but
he's not. He's not the main character, but he's a big part of it.
So, if you watch the games, you think it's about Ciri, and you think it's about him and not Ciri, and this child of destiny. In reality, the reason it's called The Witcher, and the series is called The Witcher, is God of that universe. His name's Gontar O'Dim, and he doesn't like to create. He just steals from other realities, from other gods. And he created his own reality, and he's just a piece of shit. He just does it to play. He likes to have war and stuff.
He's a great god. I don't know what you're talking about.
But for some reason, there's like a 5 or 10,000 year period when he creates this universe he cannot see into, he cannot get into. But all he knows is the reason why there's 10,000 years where he's banished from his own reality, that he can't stop or fix or change. Like, he has no control over that. No matter what, it will happen. And the reason it will happen is because of this thing called a Witcher named Geralt of Rivia. And if you ever play the games or read the book, there's always someone watching Geralt in the background. And in the books, it's really subtle. And if you play the games from the very beginning to the very end, there's always this bald guy who you always see as a guard or background someone, and he's always staring right at Geralt. And especially in the games, you would think it's just a programming error, but it's God. It's God watching Geralt, trying to figure out how he banishes him. And then in the last book and in the last expansion, you actually do that, and you actually see how that happens. It's so good. One of the best scenes in the game and in the book is when he meets God. Because Geralt knows everything about magic, because that's what he does. He hunts magic, right?
Yeah.
And this guy walks in and stops time. And Geralt just looks over and goes, "That's impossible. What's going on? This must be an illusion." He's like, "Nope, here, I'll prove it." Kills someone. Time is still stopped. And he just looks at him and goes, "How powerful of a mage are you?" And he's like, "I'm no mage. I am Gontar O'Dim. I am God of this universe, and I need you to do something for me." It's so good. It's so good.
I never played it. It sounds really good.
Witcher's such a good game. I would highly suggest playing it.
I did recently buy the on sale. The third one was on sale.
If you can, the first one. If you play the first one and second one, all your decisions carry over, and so you can have the craziest experience.
That's actually like one of my That's like one of my kind of favorite things. It segues into like one of my favorite games is Dragon Age, made by the BioWare.
I could never get past the first area in Inquisition.
Really?
I did the first crystal. I got to the first open area. Never picked up the game again.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
I don't know why.
Really
I beat Dragon Age 1 and 2 completely. Like those were like Dragon Age 2 is one of my favorite games of all time.
Oh really? The first one was my favorite. Good. I wasn't a huge fan of the second one because of how different they were from the change, but the story is really great in my mind.
Dude. My favorite character, because I always played a big lesbian, was Abigail and why do I always forget his name with the crossbow?
Varric.
What's his name?
Varric.
Yeah, Varric.
With a V?
Yeah, I always love Varric. He's my favorite.
Yeah. When you get to I don't want to spoil too much, but in Inquisition, you make a lot of decisions that revolve around like Hawk and Varric and like his group. And like some of it carries over into hopefully the next one because it's more like leads into a mystery.
You don't need to care about spoilers. I already spoiled myself on how it ends.
No, fair enough. Well, it wasn't more so how it ends. You have a decision to leave Hawk in the Fade, and if you do, Varric isn't very happy about it. But if you don't, Hawk goes back with Varric, and they end up like Varric becomes like the.
Why would you leave Hawk in the Fade unless you're?
Well, it's a choice of that or the Grey Warden, which could be Alistair or Logain or Strahd, depending on who you've chosen at that point. And if it's Alistair, I was about to leave Alistair in the Fade. Alistair's awesome. He's one of my favorite dudes from the first game.
Do you have to sacrifice someone?
You have to, yeah. It's one of the choices.
So I would have thrown. I would throw that stupid elf you meet in Inquisition you've never met before.
It was either you have two choices. It's either Hawk or the Grey Warden. And a lot of people talk about Flemeth. She makes like a foreboding of sorts when you in the second game. She says to Hawk that they stand on the precipice of change, and when they stand before the abyss, do not hesitate to leap because it's when you fall that you realize you can fly. And in the mission where you go to where you leave Hawk of the Fade is called the Precipice of Change. And when she says when you fall into the abyss, and what happens is you literally fall into the Fade. Like you fall off a fucking castle, and then the Inquisitor opens a portal into the Fade, and you fall into the Fade. And so a lot of people think it's his destiny to stay there and stay alive.
I guess that's why you get to create your own destiny.
Right? That's the whole story. But at the same time, I had a curious thought too, because the last time in the story, the whole Darkspawn like plague started with people bringing like darkness apparently to the Golden City, or at least that's what they say. And I think it's funny that if you leave a Darkspawn, like if you leave a Grey Warden there, he's essentially a Darkspawn of sorts. And he's going to stay there. Would that corrupt the city further or create some kind of,
I hear you.
Reaction effect?
Speaking of good lore, do you guys think, because you guys played Elder Scrolls Oblivion, Morrowind, and Skyrim, do you think I did not. Do you think except Sarah, because I know Sarah doesn't play games.
I'm not against them. I'm just not super interested in them.
But do you think you actually murdered the Emperor in Skyrim? Because last time they just said all the guild quests were completed by adventurers. They've done that a few times. It's one of the biggest questions out of Skyrim. Do you actually kill the real Emperor?
I don't think you do. I think his attempted assassination creates for policy changes.
I think you do.
Because when the person you get the contract from was a member of the Elder Council, I don't remember, but the Dragon Council or whatever.
Yeah.
And when you finish the thing, he talks about how you brought about great change. And the Emperor, when you go to meet and assassinate him, he was ready. He's ready and waiting for you, and he accepts his death.
Because maybe I think it's because.
He doesn't even have his main guard on. Like you think he does, but he has more guards.
Here's my thought. Okay, I think the actual canon is you the Dragonborn brings peace to the land. The third option, where he doesn't join either side, and he brings a truce. And I think the Skyrim secession will stay as it is. So only half of Skyrim will actually be its own country. And I think Tiberius Mede, whatever, realized that this would create a huge divide. And with the dark, and I think what will happen is his death was actually planned with him and the guy who calls for his death, because I think they blame the Aldmeri Dominion.
Fair enough. Then I can see that.
And it's a way to unite, even if Skyrim will stay separated, it's a way to unite all of Cyrodiil again. Or at least
because obviously the Emperor knew about it.
Exactly. And
so important.
And he knows the Thalmor, especially with all the quests they were part of, including with Alduin and the Winterhold.
Yeah.
Like, you could see that they are trying to find ways to sabotage. There's even proof of that. Like, if you go into the Thalmor embassy and read some of their documents, it talks about them giving support to Ulfric in order to fuel the civil war.
Yeah, because this country divided is easier to conquer.
So I think that will be the canon. Not that either side won, but there still be like a civil war in Skyrim.
I can see that.
Or not a civil war, at least two countries.
I could see that being the reason. I wasn't sure exactly like why, but I knew that he. I wasn't sure if he was the real emperor that died, but if he was, I knew he was intentional. It was all planned to get.
That's what my thought was, that it is the real emperor, but he basically conspired to do it as a way to rally. Because the Thalmor,
he was an older guy, so he knew he was going to die anyways.
All they have to just do is they have to find out a way to destroy the Throat of the World, which is in Skyrim. Isn't that the last tower?
I think the Throat of the World, it's the Greybeard's place.
Yeah, that's the last tower, I thought.
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
The last pillar of reality.
Oh, I honestly don't know. Because I know they had like that's where you open this Elder Scrolls, but I don't know.
Okay, so the pillars of reality are the white gold tower in Cyrodiil. There was the adamantine tower. There was the bronze tower. The wood tower or something. I think it was 6 or 7 towers. You can look them up. And one of them was the Numidium. And Numidium was the first one. And each time a tower turned off or broke, it caused a dragon break. And the reason is because each one of these towers essentially hold up the reality. They're essentially like literally the pillars of reality. And the last one to turn off was, I think, was the white gold tower during the Oblivion Crisis. With the end of
when the dragon, when the line went out.
Yeah, and so I think the last one that's still active, or there may be 2 that are still active, but I think one of the last ones was the Throat of the World, where the Greybeards are, and the Thalmor, because they want to become Fae again, they want to go back to the stars. They think that if they destroy the towers, they will unmake reality.
I can see that.
Which is, good times.
Crazy.
I like how they turned elves into like the most fascist race.
Well, it's one side of elves. Those are the high elves. Aldmeri Dominion.
Then the wood elves are cannibals. They don't eat the Green Pact. Yeah, the Green Pact means you do not eat or hurt any kind of vegetation. You only eat meat. And they're cannibals.
Cool.
That's why it's actually one of the coolest reverses.
That's so funny. I didn't know that.
So yeah, when they live on this island that's populated by a bunch of like Ents and Dryads and shit. And as a way to make peace so that they don't attack each other, there's the Green Pact. And the Green Pact is that they only eat meat. That's it. And so they're cannibals. They eat other races. They have no problems.
Cannibal implies that they eat their own race.
Yeah, they eat high elves. That's their own race.
Oh, I meant what else? But fair enough. Yeah.
I mean, they probably do, but that's the Green Pact. That's why if you ever, I forget if it's Morrowind or Oblivion. If you're a wood elf and you eat vegetables, you get negative status effects. And if you eat meat, you get bonus status effects.
I didn't know
That's
that.
cool.
Yeah. I think that was the coolest thing.
That's so funny.
Yeah, they're wood elves, man. They don't eat vegetables. They love the trees. They only eat meat.
That's so funny. It's just like crazy tribal like styles. That's so funny.
That is funny. But yeah, is there any? Does anyone think the Cyberpunk's even going to come out this year?
I don't.
No.
Yeah, me neither. You know what? But I'd much rather them delay it forever than come out with a piece of shit.
That's very me too.
I mean, who's making it?
They were getting a lot of flack though too from people.
Who cares?
What's
Who's
taking
making
so long?
it?
It's all the genital manipulation.
I don't know why that even needs to be a thing.
Who is making Cyberpunk?
What did you just say, Keaton?
CD Projekt Red.
Yeah.
What did
Same
CD
guys who did
Projekt Red
Witches.
do?
They're, I think, Norwegian.
CD? No, but like what other?
They're
The Witcher.
The Witcher.
Oh, okay. Well, that definitely completely ups the stock for sure.
That's the only notable one I can think of.
All the Witcher games. And none of them have been shit, so I will... Okay, so that's good.
I think they did one of the Red factions as well.
They're from Warsaw, Poland. No wonder they did The Witcher.